Hello, what is up friends? My name is Kay and welcome back to your Survivor recaps. So today we are going to be talking about episode 3 of Survivor 43. This episode was pretty straightforward, maybe even a little dry, but there was still some decent character development and gameplay at work here, so I'm super excited to talk about it. Before we begin, make sure you hit the subscribe button below just so you can stay updated, as I will be covering Survivor all season long. Now, let's get started. So as per usual, we are going to kick off this episode with the Vesi tribe returning back to their camp after last tribal council. Now the last tribal really seemed to cause a split within the tribe. Jesse, Nneka, and Cody were on one side, while Dwight and Noelle were on the other. And although these two started off tight at the beginning of the episode, there is now a little bit of tension between Jesse and Dwight after the last tribal. Jesse lied to Dwight about the vote last week, and so I don't blame Dwight for being upset at all. And I gotta admit, I'm starting to get a little bit worried for Jesse's game right here. He really has been controlling things on his tribe the whole time so far, but if people start to notice that, I'm really worried about his longevity in the game. We'll see how he's able to navigate though as the team moves forward. Over at the Baka tribe, Gabler is still looking pretty down and he seems to be struggling a lot out there. And while he may not look his best physically, let's not forget that this man is a heart surgeon doctor type thing. He's obviously like really smart, so I don't know why Elie seems to think this man is dumb. Like, I don't remember if maybe he lied about his occupation out there, which would have been smart or not. But yeah, it seems like him being the oldest and the sickest person on the tribe is actually kind of working for Gabler's advantage here, because he is really being underestimated. Like, the girls are really trying to play this man for a fool. Elie seems to think that Gabler has no idea how his own damn idol works, even though he has the piece of paper that explains how it works right there in front of him. Yet still she's trying to trick him to make him believe that it doesn't work anymore. I don't know what the thought process behind this one was. Either way, Sami pretty much snitches and tells Gabler everything, and now Gabler has two shiny new targets right in front of him. Now, I think the show is setting it up perfectly for Gabler to use his idol to save himself at Tribal, but that eventually is going to lead to the downfall of one of these girls. I just know it. Especially after episode 1, where we had all of this foreshadowing.
I'm worried about how that will go in future, in terms of it makes it pretty easy for the majority of 3 guys now to work together to vote out the women. And that's why I'm like really stressed right now.
I have to take into consideration the relationship between the 3 guys. I could be setting something in motion where they could have an easy majority.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for the women at Baka, I gotta say. Over at the Coco tribe, things are looking pretty great so far. I mean, they are having fun over there. They're making jewelry, they're throwing birthday parties. It looks like a real good time. But of course, this is all probably just the calm before the storm, as there is still an insidious game being played in the background. Karla decides to go on a little walk, maybe do a little bit of idol hunting. She's walking around for a little bit when she sees the Beware advantage sitting right there in the tree branches. Now, Karla, she knows the game, she's seen the past 2 seasons, so she knows that by opening this advantage, it could put her vote at risk. So at first she decides, hey, I'm not gonna do it. She decides to just leave it there. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was shook that she put this advantage back. But of course, after a little bit of a cliffhanger, we're brought back, and Karla does a little bit of thinking and a little bit of talking, and she decides to go back for that advantage. Turns out it's the same advantage that Cody found, and now Karla is in a little bit of a dilemma. Now, here's where it gets fun, because Karla is going to use a slightly similar strategy to the one that Cody used, but she's going to put her own little personal twist on it, of course. Karla decides to pull on some emotional heartstrings and tell everybody that she wants their beads in order to make a bracelet for her wife. Sometimes she trades, sometimes she pleads, but overall, this technique ends up working pretty damn well. And I just loved watching this. I loved getting a little glimpse of Karla's social skills. Not only is this working to gain her an idol, it's also helping her build bonds with the rest of her tribe mates. Double whammy, we love it. This day and age, charm and charisma can get you very, very far in this game, so I'm really excited to see how Karla continues to grow from here. We then get to the challenge, and it's your standard survivor challenge. There's some swimming, there's some puzzles, you know the vibes. After a grueling battle and of course some confusion at the puzzle, the Vesi tribe loses once again, and now they will be headed to tribal council for the second time in a row. Yikes. This challenge is going to end as a twist though, as 3 members from each tribe is now selected to go on an island to go on a special journey together. James, Owen, and Noelle all get chosen to go from their tribes, and I gotta admit, I started to get very, very nervous for Noelle right here. She was already on the outside of her tribe, and now she has to be separated from everyone else right before they go to tribal council. Yeah, not looking too good. However, on the hike, the 3 of them, of course, are all able to talk and bond and really get to know each other. Now, Noelle must have really been working her social game out there, because when they get to the part where they can all decide whether to risk their vote or play it safe, James and Owen both decide to pretty much volunteer to give Noelle the advantage. They know that she's going to be going to tribal soon, and they want her to be able to protect herself, and I think that's pretty freaking hot. Like, for real, I love that for Noelle. Like, she's just given an advantage for no good reason. Like, okay, I take it too. I'm willing to bet there was some sort of alliance or deal that was made here that we didn't get to see, so now I'm really excited to see the damage that those 3 can do if they all make it to the merge together. Back at the Vessey camp, Nneka is feeling pretty down after losing the last challenge. Her name is on the chopping block, and she knows it too. The other name that's really being tossed around is Noelle's. Now, Noelle is seen as a much better competitor than Nneka, but she can't really be trusted. Right now, it's that classic battle of keeping who you can trust versus keeping who is going to be really strong during the competitions. Last week, they chose loyalty over strength when they voted out Justine, but now Jesse and Cody have a pretty important decision to make on if they want to do that again. I know that Jesse is probably going to have the final say here, so the fact that him and Cody are contemplating cutting Nneka is not looking too good. When Noelle does eventually come back to join the rest of the tribe, she just flat out lies about having that advantage. The only person she trusts with the truth is Dwight. She reveals her advantage to him, and it turns out to be a steal a vote. Wow, I really thought that Noelle was dead in the water, especially after last tribal, and especially after being isolated so much this tribal. But she seems to have really been able to turn her game around, so good for her. For a second there, Noelle and Dwight even contemplate using the steal a vote on Jesse, since they don't really trust him too much anymore. All of this, of course, is left on a cliffhanger though, as we head off to tribal council. The Vesi tribe all arrives at tribal, and everything is pretty much straightforward for the most part. Jeff asks everyone how confident they are, and everybody seems to be pretty sure they know what's gonna go on, except for Noelle. Noelle is straight up honest. She's like, hey, I don't know what is gonna happen, okay? And after all of that, Noelle doesn't even end up using her steal a vote advantage. Turns out she doesn't even need to use it, as we see eventually Nneka is the one who is voted out. This really sucks. I really do hate to see Nneka go. I really loved her story, but at the same time, she did kind of flop on 2 challenges in a row, and there's really no recovering from that. As far as the Vesi tribe goes, I can see Noelle making it a lot further now, especially since she has the steal a vote advantage. But at the same time, I could also totally see Dwight snitching on her and revealing her advantage to everybody, so who really knows? Of course, I'm interested to know, what did you all think of this episode? Do you think that Nneka was the right choice to vote out, or do you think it should have been someone else instead? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said earlier, this episode was a little bit dry, maybe just a little bit predictable, but that's okay. There's still such a long season ahead of us, and I'm really excited to see how things end up turning out. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, but until then, I will talk to you all next week. Peace.